Oh, okay. I guess we're live. I feel alive. Do you? So this morning, we're kind of going to talk about a couple things. One being environmental factors and tidal situations in Anchorage, kind of plan an anchor plan. Uh, hey, 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 crazy horse. Hey, you give me a few minutes, then we're gonna play. Wait, wait for a minute, okay? All right, you gonna wait for a minute? No, hey, hey, don't be under feet. Don't be under feet. Don't be challenging me. Ah, I know you want to play. She wants to play. Hey, stop. Okay, down. Oh, go over there. Go. All right. I'm not gonna get a break. Hey, hey, go, go, go. You want to go downstairs? Do you want to go downstairs? Move, move, move. I'm working. I'm working. Move, move. Thank you. Go, go, go. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. Somebody is going to demand her playtime first, but she's just going to have to wait a minute. So now, if I can figure out how to do the cam thing here. Nope, that's not it. Let's see more. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, we're back. One thing I don't like about this thing is I just simply want to change the camera from front to back, and I got to go in menus to do it. And from a cell phone, it's a royal pain in the backside, is what it is. And then I get into here. You got to hit the little X. Okay. All right. So, and it's also small on the screen. My viewport should be like 3/4 of my screen. So I'm trying to, maybe I can work with StreamAid or whatever it is, StreamYard, that's it. And get those guys to change up a little functionality to go in phone mode at least. A simple button with a little code behind it, a little different frame set. This thing can actually be pretty friendly. So we'll see what they got to say about that. If not, there's other products out there. So, anyways, while we're still here at the pitch forward, we're aiming straight into the wind. The tide is going out, as you can see the little items going by. They always say take off a little piece of paper and throw it in the water to see which way it's going. Well, here's a little wood chip fragment, natural, what do you call it? Biodegradable wood chips from puppy chews. So if I throw this in the water, well, that didn't help. Got another puppy fragment here. Let's try to see if we can get it out in the wind further. Okay, there it is out there. So we watch that thing, and it's going by, right? It's going by at about 3/4 of a knot, maybe. Nautical mile an hour, right? So the bubbles are a better indication. I don't know if you can see. So right now, this one's off on a tangent. It's over here. Got about 130 feet of that halyard out there. So things out there, almost where that bird was for a second there. This one is over here. These two are forward, but I have a triangle established now. Since the last storm, we moved some things around a little bit. The little guy moved. You see those lines going down in the water down there. Now those are twisted over each other a couple times. Before I fix this situation, I wanted to. I can't see anything. Whether I'm. This sucks. They've got the my viewport is the size of my thumb on my phone. You know, when I'm in that mode, it should be full screen so I can see what I'm looking at. But at any rate, this one here is on that line. It comes around, wraps around that buoy. That buoy is my key point. If you see how you can keep those guys apart. Generally, I leave it down in the water a little bit further ahead. But what ends up happening is I can let that line out and move that buoy out further. It's always going to move away from the vessel. If I pull it in, it's attached with a knot on both sides. It can't go anywhere. It's just big enough to keep it floating so it doesn't go around and get caught in the rudder. I can see where it is. If I'm in an Anchorage where there's boats buzzing about and we're lee in the wind, I can let that out and they'll know that there's an anchor out there. They won't come buzzing across my anchor line, which is a real threat sometimes. People just don't pay attention. And the motorboaters, they don't have a clue because they don't anchor. They don't drop anything more than a little plumb bob over the side of their boat and go fishing or whatever they do, or play at the beach for the day. So they really don't ever throw any scope out. They generally don't even understand that factor that we have a lot of scope, meaning a ratio of the distance between the anchor point on the boat and the anchor. And so if we're in 10 feet of water and we got 100 feet of rope out, it's a scope of 10 to 1, keeping it simple. If we have 100 feet of line out and we're in 5 foot of water, we have a scope of 20 to 1. So it's a ratio. And I'd love to see 8 to 1. Unless you're in a mild condition, you drop anchor for a quick lunch or something, and there's absolutely zero threat of weather, well then, you could probably run on a scope of, 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 with a decent anchor and a good bottom, just to hold your boat in a light breeze. But when you anchor, when I anchor, I'm anchored for whatever may come along. Unexpected squall is what usually sends people to the seawall, the rocks, or the beach, or some other hazard. And that's usually when you see that happen, because they just weren't fully prepared. And when the squall blows up, you're not going to be doing much at that point. And you might not even be on your vessel. You might be on shore just having a little snack or getting some provisions and watch your vessel break loose, and it can be a bad situation. The water is somewhat clear. I can see down about 7 feet at least right now. This morning it's not too bad. So the point is, there's a 3-point on here, and that was for the storm action. There's a turning anchor on there, and there's a turning anchor on the primary on this guy right here. And normally we go out on the bridle, which has a line to each side of the boat, and they go out through the through the anchor eyes, I guess. This is what I would call the name for them. And they go out through these guys right here, these eyelets, and they spread the stress around this energy. Some pretty thick fiberglass here, as you can see, and it spreads the energy. Now I bring this one on the bridle up because there's one bridle here. Normally there's another bridle here. Currently our other gear isn't on the vessel. Excuse me. Thank you. Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. So, back. Go. Move. Move. Okay, move. Come on, go. No. Leave my rope alone. Go. No. Hey, you want a spanking? Do you want a spanking? I will spank your butt. Knock it off. No. Go get your rope. Go get your rope. So I deploy these things in an instant, and there's another 125 feet of this line out right now. It's about 100 feet here, roughly. And this comes out, so I coil it to the middle. I make sure there's no twists in this when I put it down. You can't have twists. They'll flip up on themselves and grab a whole hunk. It can grab a whole pile. Make a quick knot. And under the force of anchorage, under sail, because I sail on and off the hook, it'll grab this whole thing or a big lump and a loop and grab your leg and suck you in. And if the boat has momentum at all, it's going to try and suck you into that hole right there. It's going to be ugly. If it's heavy weather and we're deploying, we'll come back on the wind after dropping sails. We drop the anchor and drop sails with the wind. boats downstream, and we can get a pretty good clip going. This little girl weighs a lot, and she's not going to stop. She's not going to stop. That anchor's going to set, and you're going to be in between the end of that road and the bridle. Normally the bridle comes up here and lays back. All the line runs out, the chain runs out first, then all this anchor road runs out, and then the last thing is there's about 10 feet. I keep 10 feet here of the bridle, the other end of the bridle, which goes to each one of these lines on both sides. That is looped up in the middle and lays right here. Then at the last minute, when the end of the road comes up, I just pick up the big shackle here. There's another one that goes on the end of this where it meets the line with the road. And I literally pick this up, slide it forward so it can go through the large opening, and it goes straight down, and this whole loop goes out, and then we're hanging on the bridles. You see these bridles hanging down, getting a little chafed. Then it's out, and it keeps it off the bob stay and the bob stay chain. And it's about 23 feet from there it goes. So the combination of the bridles, the anchor road, and the chain. Oh, move. I'm gonna spank. She wants to help me straighten up roads because she knows I'm up here. Stop! Stop! I didn't ask for help. Stop! See, she's missing her initial morning playtime because I come up. I'm doing a live feed, but I need to do it right now because we're gonna have a turn here, and I wanted to catch it while I could. So you see how those are both going up, and they're holding off the center point, and that's what's important. So I'll usually let it go at about 7 to 10 more feet, maybe 20 feet in heavy wind, and it'll bring the focal point of those two anchors together because I let the secondary ride over the top of that with one loop. They're together. They're pulling from one angle. They're about 25 feet apart. This primary and the other one over there. They're over there. One's there and one's over there. And then this is the kind of like my backstay. This pulls me back. It's almost like a spring line to the side. Because the tide here runs in here. The tide runs in here, it goes up there. The tide also comes in here and makes a turn right here and goes under that bridge. So we have converging tide. So in this area, you'll just spin. And we get that twice a day. And sometimes I get two or three spins if the wind's light enough and just right before it settles back into place. So at any rate, I will continue to explain the anchor road here. So my strategy with this is Okay, we're back. Interesting. I don't know. I don't know. This is kind of goofy. I've had a lot of interference from the harassment group that likes to harass people that speak out about truth and expose corruption. So they been harassing me lately. It always makes for an interesting learning curve because then I learn more about how to deal with the nonsense, and then it helps me pass good information along to others that speak about truth and get harassed also. It's a crazy time we live in. It really is. It's gotten bizarre in the last couple of weeks, really, since they started going into some of these other alphabet organizations and, giving them the rectal, proctal, I don't know what it is. They've been climbing around with a camera and a microscope. The endoscope, I think they're going in with the endoscopes, and people aren't liking it with the frivolous spending and the nonsense that's the waste, and then the corruption is the worst. Waste is bad enough, but the corruption. So yeah, there's some weird things going on. So my phone, and they've been messing with me, and they do that, and it's fine. I kind of smile because I've been playing with technology ages before they were old enough to be sucking on fudgesicles and watching Bugs Bunny. That's for sure. But they play around. With time, this will pass, and things will get worked out. There's some people that are really throwing a temper tantrum now because they had that power of corruption and position, and things are changing. So they're not liking it. There's a small screaming child in the sandbox throwing toys around. I kind of chuckle. So, anyways, it'll all get worked out by the folks that are doing what they're doing and digging in to get to the bottom of it, and ultimately holding accountability will be the deal to see. Anyways, enough with the day's events in the crazy part of the world. We live in the West. It's the wild, turning into the Wild West. So, anyways, back to business about the anchors. I had to take an important call, so I was trying to I had to stop the call and try and see how to shut this down. And I hung on to the feed, which is good. It's good for doing that. That's probably the reason I'll probably use it or keep it as one of the tools in my arsenal or my tool belt, so that I can, kick out some videos. I don't know how the picture quality. You guys are smaller than my screen, so you can see my face. Anyways, switching cameras, I should just hit a button and switch. I gotta go in menus, so I'm gonna talk to these people about that. I'm sure, I guess if I really want to get into coding, I could just dig into it and do it. But I'm not interested in code. I got other things of actual importance to work on, so I don't have time to play with it. I'll just find a product that actually back in the day, I got to tell this people that have worked with that stuff and are doing good work and they're sharp with the right minds. That's what people want to know. The good stuff is the ones that are good at it. They always do a wonderful job. And yeah, so they got their little boating community over there with the tenders for the bridge operation. They hibernate under the bridge, their favorite pier piling, and then they dispatch contractors and people that come and go to the job site to and from shore. So they stop by once in a while and wave. So, anyways, back to what we were talking about before I got disrupted with the call. I'm trying to change my anchor, my camera onto the anchor position. I gotta go to more. Try this again. I think I'm getting it. They're all menus, so it's crazy. I gotta go to a menu to choose these things. It's like, come on. If they can do it on federal, why can't we have it on did this in Yahoo Messenger years ago. You know, it's like, come on, guys. Okay. All right. Now we're back to it. So at any rate, I'll just run over the basics because we always end up with people that are interested in there. They're not voters. So sorry, everything's out of a format. It's already been 10 minutes of nonsense. 24 minutes. Oh my goodness. We're running along. She's over there just keeping an eye on me. I'm going to do something with the anchor now because I'm down on my knees in the position of working on it. So what we got going is an anchor line there. That's a small rope. It's wrapped up over. It's got one loop on this, and it's over the other one, and it's going to go the other way. But by having it go through those two with one loop on the top of the big one, I let this line out, and that buoy will move. It'll move that way. It'll split the difference, so it'll end up out there as well. I can change my point of fulcrum, and right now it's in a good position for light wind and just keeping the boat kind of in one area. It can't move too far. It can drift all the way that way and go all the way up to the other end when these lines go that way. But since the wind is this way and the tide is this way, we're riding back tight. If the tide was the other way, we'd be floating around. And then, you know, we're just going to hover somewhere in the middle. Or as they say, riding up on your anchor. But to keep things under control, this one stays looped over there and pulling off the bottom too. So this is like kind of like a big sliding ring. Now I could put a ring on here. I could put a ring on this, on this line right here. I can put a ring on this. It doesn't take much. We don't have a lot of tension. We're a light breeze. It's probably about 100 pounds of force holding the boat here in the wind. But when the wind starts to blow it all, that'll go right up over 1,000 and then start going in the thousands of pounds when we start taking waves out. It gets in the tons range when we're in a storm. This would normally be the size rope we would use. And this is 1.25 inches. And then we have the 1 inch triple braid. So this is diamond braid. This is yacht line, really expensive, really strong. And it doesn't have a lot of stretch. This has stretch to it. And it's kind of a spring. When you hit the big waves, I can move with the wave and then pull back. This will tighten up real tight. And it's like this. It's a diamond braid. It's meant not to stretch. So, at any rate, we have 2 rollers. This needs to be rebuilt. It's been destroyed in the last 2 episodes of situations. I'm actually going to do what I did here and put the big nylon block on here. I think this is Delron actually. But we put the big wood blocks below it, the 2x10s. And then I think 2x8s or 2x10s, I don't remember. And then we cut them out and notch them so they fit here so we can get these eyes through here appropriately. But they come back and this is all beat to death. It should look more like this to keep these lines from wanting to go over into the roller. Now I have to put this here to keep this small line from going over the pulley because it'll get lodged back there. And I don't have enough strength. It could actually pop, squeeze that line through there. And then I'm really in a bad way. Especially being on anchor. So that's what I put this here for. It can't allow that. And I can't get past the bobstay down there, so it can't pull it past that point. It's relieved by the pole here. So this is basically a guide, to keep things. It's a block. And the first hurricane we were in, it took these teak boards and just ripped them out like little pretzels. And during that hurricane, my toes, when I came down, my toes blasted that hole right there. And then the next time my knee came through and broke all these boards out, and I cut my knee, and it was kind of a bad situation. But I was having to hang over the side of here through this basket, hold on to that chain, hanging onto that chain, one leg up here, and pulling this rope manually. Where it actually twists the rope up against itself, pulls back and locks so we could get our rope, because on this side during the hurricane, this had already torn all this stuff out and was back here on the steel cutting it. It was off the roller. You see the roller ends right there. See, there's no pin, and it got behind here and was laying up on the steel that goes here and cutting through the rope. and we had inch and a half triple, and way heavier than this, half again as much as this. And it had already cut through one strand and was cutting into the second of the three. And at any time it could have broke. We were in a hurricane, so it could have been dangerous. But the rope's going to go back in the water. The other end's pretty short. It's not going to take my head off like a cable. But it was crazy. In the still of the night at 3:45 in the morning, I'm hanging off the front of this thing with a flashlight aimed at this area so I could see something. The waves come up here and hit the bottom of this and come over the top of the basket. So in between waves, hanging off, trying to tie a rope to the rope that's being cut to save our anchor and save the boat. Well, we did it. We did it actually twice in 45 minutes. We went down to take a break after a 45-minute struggle, and we were just exhausted. And I was down there not even 5 minutes because we we're going to come back out and string another one up to it to the other eye. And it didn't work. I heard a weird noise, and I went up to check on it. It had already cut through the first one. It was doing the same thing. So that was about an hour and a half in a hurricane out here, back and forth. She was bringing me pieces of wood to shove in here, and we were tying them with 550 cord to keep that from pulling back. Because this did not, none of this existed. It was just the old original teak plate. It cleared it out. So she was cutting with the saw and bringing me boards, and it was insane. But we saved the boat. We didn't lose our anchor. We made it back. This is the marina where I had it. They decided to be intelligent because they don't have people that are, very boat wise or savvy. But when the boat got off their dock because their cleats failed during a blow, they decided to be the Wild West and throw a rope around here and wrangle the boat back with this. So they're stealing here. It's perfectly safe right now, but it's a mess. And they broke this plate off here. They broke that steel. That's a pretty good size steel. That's how much force they put on this railing. They roped it right here. It's actually broken in between. It buckled it out into a triangle and broke it and tore the wood, destroyed this whole section. So there were up to that time, there were only 2 holes in the teak, and that was from a hurricane where I came up, got thrown down, my toes broke these boards out, went through here. The next time I came up, bounced off the basket and fell, and my knee went down and busted this hole out. And it's the only damage that was up here to the teak. It needs to be cleaned up and oiled. But yeah, so those guys, they made a mess, and I have to do some work. It's not going anywhere. This is all steel underneath here. But for those that don't know, this is the bowsprit or the bowsprit. This is bowsprit pole. I've only seen, this is the only vessel of this particular type I've seen that's been modified with the big metallic pole. The rest are all wood, and they end right about here where my foot is. They all end right there. There's the end of the pole right there, and it's wood, and it's like a big 6x6 or something. But this actually has another piece for the end of it, and there's chain that goes from here to some poles that go out, and then it goes back into the front. So there's a big triangle of chains on 4 sides, and then there's another piece that goes on the end. And this is where the sails hook up. You see there's a plate right there. There's a plate right there. So there's another forward sail that can go on this as well. So it's I got some work to do to get her up to speed. I got to get some chain for the stabilizer. But yeah, this is the bowsprit. This is the bowsprit pulpit. This area where you stand and work. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun during big waves at Anchorage, or even sailing. I just haven't had anyone be able to sail it and ride the waves out myself because I've been too busy trying to deal with, handling the boat, and I haven't really been able to go out and sail it. But yeah, this is a fun place to take rides, especially in a big blow. I've been up in a hurricane. It's no big deal. The boat's not going anywhere. Just hang on. Hurricanes are pretty smooth because they're big, long, synchronous waves. They're very predictable. Now, when you're in a blow and you're on Anchorage and the Chesapeake, and you got the tide coming up on it, it gets really crazy. Or a nor'easter, again, synchronous. But when you're in a storm and the wind's turning, that makes makes for an interesting ride because the waves will double up when they go against the wind. So you get a 25-foot ride up here. You go up, you see I'm up about 10 feet at the base of the thing here, 10 to 12 feet, and then we go up just as high, and then we go down. So we go up about 7 to 10 feet on the average, and then we drop all the way down to plunge through the water. And it's kind of fun. It's quite a ride. And then if you don't want to be that courageous, you can always come up here and then you can saddle this horse if you're not sailing, and then you can sit here and just hang on to this and have a little fun as well. Usually I'll sit up here and watch. It's a safe place to watch and see what's going on. Look at the waves, looking out at the big waves, seeing where it's going to break and things like that. So back to our Anchorage stuff. This is all misdirect. I was going to try and do it for the format and do like a 15-minute video, and then I got a call in the middle, and then the camera's not working. So we're just having fun this morning. Anyway, there's about 100. Let's see, there's about maybe 115 feet of rope if I'm looking at it right now. Got another, I've got like about 175. Let's see, yeah. So there's about 100 feet of rope out right now, I'm thinking, on this one, and then there's 85 feet of chain. But this anchor isn't all the way up there. It's a third of the way between us and that other boat is about where this anchor is actually located. And then the other one's pulling the other direction. So we sit on our scope, and we, like, you take a pencil and a pin and you put a piece of string on it, make a big circle. No, we hang the same way. That's called our scope, our area that we hang on. See, down below there's another big one, bigger than this. This is a small one. There's a 5-inch downstairs between the chain and this one. And then normally there's one that's like that size. Down below there's two big rings, but that's on the other anchor road, and that's sitting on the bottom of the Chesapeake because we had to leave it behind. It's about I don't know, 100, almost 200 feet of chain. So that's kind of a shame, but it is what it is. But we got stuck here because this bobstay chain is the one down below. The electrolysis, they had bad electricity, and it literally corroded this from being this thick to that much right there. It could have caused catastrophic failure. So I was stuck here until I could fix it. And that section of chain right there has been replaced with new shackles in place. And that section there is fine. And it got it right at the end by the water where it sits in the water. Right now we're down about 10 inches, 8 inches maybe on the hull. We've got about 17,000 pounds of water downstairs, I'm thinking, roughly. Probably about 8 tons. Hey, I'm not ready to pull the anchor chain. Yeah. What she does is she helps me when I have to pull these through. In a minute here, before the tide turns, I'm going to go ahead and release this guy, coil it up. I have to pull it through the eye, bundle it here, hand it around, walk up, climb over, get it around there, pull the other line up, get it around that one, get it back, coil it, pass it under, bring it up here, feed it through, and then I give her the end of the rope, and she'll run all the way to the back of the boat and stretch it out for me. So when I coil it, it's not all wound up. It doesn't have any twists in it. And of course, she's overdoing her business. Yeah, I'll have to get the bucket, take care of that care package there. She always makes deposits, but this is her deposit area. Is her spot. The dogs figure that out when they get on board because there's got to be a place where we expect it. Then we take care of it. And then we take our saltwater bucket and wash the decks. Yeah. Everything runs back and goes out the gunnels. So yeah, we've got some halyard line. This is just the cheap Harbor Freight line, but it's this type of line. It doesn't stretch. This is halyard line. But this is this common rope. I think it's good for 345 pounds working. But, it's safe for you to go up on it as a secondary, you're not going to break it. But we always use a halyard line and maybe a topping lift line. We run 2 lines when you go up on the. If you look at our gear here, I've got 2 lines. This one's capable of lifting the front end of a car and swinging it all over the place. The strength on this is pretty crazy. And this is just even heavier. It's crazy. Thousands of pounds. So you go up, and then it's just a second. They both work. They're both good. But you don't have to worry about it. Nothing can happen with it because you have a second. And then we tie one here. This is our safety line. And every 10 feet, we go ahead and re-secure the safety line. And then the main one is... The main one goes up on this winch. I can put it on either winch. I could use the other side if I wanted with the other halyard, but this is the side we bring people up on. So you wrap it 3 times and someone pulls. Well, when I'm here alone or I got to pull my sister up, I crank with one hand. I hold the tension on it to keep it on the spool, and then I hold it, and then I bring it up and I secure it, and then I take and gather the spare out of this, and I secure that, then we're ready to go again. Then when I crank some more, it takes me about 7 tries, and then I can get her up. It's about 63 feet up there off the water. It's about 50, roughly about 50 something feet up to where I gotta take her up to, and it takes a minute. But we do the double security because we don't want accidents. If you just prevent the situation, you don't have the accident. So you fall down here, I wouldn't even want to survive a fall more than 25 feet. So just forget it. So you'd bounce off, break your shoulder, and end up in there. But when you're out to sea, it's a whole different game. And I'm the only one on the boat, so I have other methods if I have to deal with a thing, and I'm not going to be using this mainsail. It weighs too much. There's one that's not even as heavy. This is a lighter sail. This is the roller furling. It's not a light sail. This thing is about almost 200 pounds, 180 pounds. It doesn't look like it, but it's all folded up inside. Yeah, I can't lift this thing. I can't pick it up. I have a hard time when it came over the side, dragging it back up. It's massive. It's heavy. Imagine putting that guy up. That's an even heavier sail, and it's big. It's too much for me. So ultimately, I'll put the hydraulic winches on. I'll build a set of lazy jacks for this thing. I'm not into lazy jacks, but yeah, I want to run my boat myself, so I'm going to have to set up a nice traveling deal, and I'll put a little 10-inch canvas edge for it, just so the bottom sits on the set. I'll put some drains in it, and it'll be out of the way. I don't like the big sail bags. That's freeboard. That's bad news. But a lot of these people are just bay sailors and coastal sailors, and they cut across once in a while, but they don't do any big ocean sailing. And if you do any freeboard's your enemy. If you're in fall weather and something goes wrong, that's going to work against you. So the less drag you got above the water and the wind, the better. But this thing sits up here. It has 2 reef points. They're usable. And here's one of them. And there's another one up further. And this ties it back. And then this draws the clue out on the outhaul. And then there's another one that runs up in there. This is one. And then there's another one that goes further, a little bit further. And that's the other reef point. And when it goes down, then you have your ties, which are pretty much useless now. They're pretty frazzled. But these guys actually have holes inside the sail. And can I see one here? I can. Okay, I can show you. See if I can lift it up. But this base sucks. This base, these legs don't get out of the way. If you see right there, there's a hole in the sail. And it's got a big grommet, and you tie a knot to the rope on both sides. So when you get the sail down to that point, you can tie the foot of the sail down. And that secures it at that height. And then the outhaul pulls that section of the sail tight to the back. And this is double reefed right now, so that's what we have. She wants to play. She's just, come on, you gotta play with me. You gotta play with me. You're ready to play, aren't you? You are, aren't you? Yeah, you are. In a minute. She knows what that is. Sometimes 1 minute's longer than the other. So I see it's time to put some new telltales on here. Yeah, this thing's been it's only been run like twice. Twice. Pretty much brand new. When I get down there, I'll give her a scrub down. We'll get it situated, and then I'll put the cover back on it. No. Stop. We got a pile of assorted sailbags here for different ones. Here's one of my other Hank on. It says Hank. That means it has Hanks. So you can put it on a wire and yank it up. I wrapped this one because I was in wind and I had a really interesting situation. This is the night I went down and parked on the fuel dock by myself. I don't know, it was about half an hour before bar closed, whatever time that is here, pretty late. I pulled anchor, caught the wind, started heading out. As you see where I am, I was about here. We started climbing. The wind was out of here. The wind was right about out of here. And it's supposed to be a little more out of here, but it was right off there. It was okay. Pop sails, pulled up on anchor, pulled the last anchor up, and we started marching forward. Well, right about where that bird is, or right out here, about 100 feet at the most, not even. There's a bar that goes, it's all shallow right here. It's all shallow, goes out. So I got to go out on that side of those buoys. The channel's on this side, not that side. Started driving forward, so I had to pop sail the other way, flip it around, get her to make a U-turn, come out and turn. We were about level with these, right about where we are now. And I was just going to clear that one. I'm heading for it, and all of a sudden, the tide that comes under here got going enough, and it blew me straight over to that seawall over there. Straight. Well, I'm sailing this way, locked on it. I'm watching. It's nighttime. I can't see nothing here. There's a couple twinkle lights. This is all lit up at night. And I can't see, and it just took me sideways right towards the seawall. Took me right to the end down there. And let me tell you, that was some scary stuff. By myself on the boat, and we're about to land the boat on the seawall. I couldn't turn up into the wind anymore because the wind just kept going that way. Kept going that way. It was too south, just hadn't settled out, and then the current just blasted me out. Normally the current would, go this way, but it got going enough for it to come up under the bridge, and it took me to that seawall, and literally at the end I could almost reach out and touch it. As we went by, I just was standing back there running my sheet lines and steering, and I literally stepped up there and pushed off on the piling because I thought it may catch the T-rack on the dinghy davits. It wasn't dragging on the side, didn't hit anything. This was still out, everything was good. Move! But I pushed right here until these wires came up. I just gave it a shove, and I was just worried it would catch that right there and then grab the boat. We'd be on the wall. But we went right past it. We literally slid right past it, and then I had to bring the boat in and turn it. You can't see much at the seawall, but that's not just one wall. Right in the break over there, I had to actually bring the nose over and turn it by pulling the sail back in. So when I pull on this line right here, this line goes up and pulls a downhaul for that sail, and I pulled it in. And the wind was wanting to blow it over the side, so I pulled it in, pulled the nose around, so we clear those poles. And at the same time, I'm looking at everything in front of me. There's no way to avoid it. So I went, oh, great. So I let that back out, ran forward, cranked the wheel upwind, cranked it into the wind, which stalled the boat, basically. And the sail was still up, so it was kind of dragging us, just holding us. And then the tail, the mizzen was still up full, and it was tied over because you see this rope. Dahlia, knock it off. This rope that I got here to stabilize this so it don't waddle around. It's kind of loose after the last storm. But I'll tie this to this side or to that side if I'm going to turn about and hold the wind. This is my boom bank here, and that I can bring it in, but I can't bring it out. So I tie it to one side so it'll stay to one side so I can, let it in or out. But I had it set, and so it was the sail was back here, but I had it tied over there. So I needed to let it out. So I let it stay in and I let the sail up. Both sails were still up. I run up, grab my emergency anchor, which is right up by the front, and look out as far as I can and throw it at 45 and 30 feet, maybe 25 feet. It's a 20-pounder. And let it go down and give it a light tug so it flies into the ground. I felt it. You can call it tugs. Give it a few more seconds to pull lightly. Give it 3 or 4 good tugs and set. And I put the brakes on the cleat and started putting energy from the boat. Really planted. Once it was planted, I put the brakes on. And then I had to tie it off. So I gave it a few feet. Ran back here. Took this sail down. You got to undo it. Bring the sail down. Then the boat just came in and laid straight, almost parallel parked towards the dock, and I had about 20 feet to go, so I started letting the anchor out so the nose would come around. And then once it was close, I just gave it the one yank, tied it off, ran across here, jumped off because the boat was still about 5 feet from the dock. It was close up the front, and the tail was still about 12 feet over here, 15 feet. It was at an angle. I made it to the dock. I grabbed over the dock lines. I tied it through the eye so the boat couldn't get away. But the wind was still trying to push us backwards and spin us to the shore. So it's pretty crazy. But I was back and forth down this deck 4 times in a minute and a half, playing with sails and an anchor. To stop. No. Leave my rope alone. Go get yours. Go get yours. Go. Thank you. Go. Good girl. All right. See, she wants to do her rope pull. She's getting impatient. So it can be handy because these ropes come up wet. They're coiled up. They're twisted. She'll take it from a pile and run it all the way to the back and stretch it. Or she'll play with the end of it. But if I ask her, she'll bring me the end of the back. She can grab me a rope too. So she's becoming more handy. So a little bit at a time. Hey, get off there. Go play with your rope. Go. So at any rate, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to leave the feed run for a minute. And you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to let this guy out. We're going to untie this guy. We're going to let it out. We're hanging on this right now. The wind is off our nose. So if I wait till the wind changes, then I'm going to have a problem and have a lot more fighting to do. So we're going to release this guy, which is a red line, and then we're going to drop back a bit and hang on those bigger lines. Right now we're hanging between this one and this one. It doesn't matter where the wind's coming from. There's an angle there, so we're actually hanging from this angle. So we're going to actually move over, and that's going to take 20 feet of rope. And that's about all I got. So if I get on it, I'll still have some rope in my hand to come back down here and pull and put it back through this eye and tie it up. I have to be fast. Normally I do it with the tide trim, but later we're going to get more north wind. So it's going to back up. As you can see, it is right now. Earlier I was bubbles in the water. So somebody's coming in. So I'm going to do that, and you can see what's involved with that because I have to do it. It's getting a little later than I wanted. They come up at key times to do certain things. And if you catch it, if you're paying attention, you're on time. Let's just see how this works. So when I let that down, then that guy will go. Okay, now you see it. It's going to start sliding down that thing. See how it's pulling? See how our angle's changing? It'll pull that thing down. It's got to go over there. See how it's pulling on there now? It'll pull it down, and then it'll go underneath, ultimately. It's going to pop over the other one if I can just get the slack off of it. Sometimes you got to do that. It'll let it go underneath. Anyways, I'm going to put the camera up here, and you guys can watch, and then I'm going to get this done. There it goes. Now it's going. Anyways, I got to get going because this is
I gotta find the thing here. Gotta go to our other facing camera. We gotta go to settings, and we gotta go to camera. We gotta go to this one. We gotta go to camera. Oh, there we are. Hey, we're back. I'm learning these crazy little menu tricks. It's usable, but it's a pain. Okay, now you're probably gonna miss it because it's about to pull it under the water. If I yank on this back, if I yank on this and do it right, I can get that to go underneath there. Holding the phone and doing it at one time is not, but it'll pull it under there. So I'm gonna get that guy free, and then we're gonna retie it up. We'll have our single lineup because we're gonna turn tonight. The wind's gonna right around when it does, and I want to face the other way. I don't want to be tied at this angle. This is a setup for a blow from the north, and that's what we last got. It was a blow from the north. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys. Stop! Move! Tell ya? I'm gonna spank your butt. I'm gonna spank your butt. Okay, there we go. I think that'll work. That'll probably keep the wind out of your microphone a little better too. Hopefully that's been working on. My tape job is kind of hokey. I've been looking around at stuff, but I got to get back down and get busy. I got bills to pay, and I gotta get a little decent remote microphone. That's about all I need. I got other cameras. Stop! Move! Let's go. You're gonna help me when I'm done. Move! 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 Back! Back! You're being a pain. Now you're showing off. You're forcing around. Being silly. Move! Get off! I didn't ask for help yet. take it. Go. 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 Good girl. Go. Come on. Go. 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 All right. Good girl. All right. Move. Move. Go. Take it. Go. 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 Give me that. Give me that. Take it. Let go. Move. 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 I'll give it to you in a minute. Hang on. Hang on. Move. Move your feet. No, this end. Right here. Take it. Go. 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 Hey. Are you gonna help? Are you gonna help or are you screwing around? Go. 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 Come on. Go. 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 Good girl. All right. Go. All right. Thank you. No. Stop. All right. All right. You got it all back in order. All right. See you. Move, move. Go. 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 All right. No. All right. That's it. I got it. I got it. You're done. Hey. Okay, go. Go. Says stop. I'm winding now. Leave it alone. I'm winding now. All right, good girl. Look up. Look up. Move. 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 Hey, take it. Go. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. I got the end of it now. Okay, let go. Hey, let go. Thank you. Let go. Let go. Where's your rope? Go get your rope. Go get it. Go get your rope. Come on. Move. Go get your rope. Go get your rope. All right. My drawers. Losing my drawers. Heck yeah. Look back at that. Stop. Everything's back in order. Can't have these loops in here with loops to catch your feet. You gotta keep them out of the way. It's kind of an interesting little deal how that all works out. Normally there's 2 courses plus 80 something feet of chain. So the rope keeps the chain from moving. So there we go. That's what that means. Keep it out front so it don't cut off the bob stay. It's where I can see it. Other people can see it. There's an anchor line there. Obviously not going to cut right across there because you can see that line through there. If it's out a little further, you know to stay out further. It works pretty good. So now we're back on the 2 point. Got this one here. These 2 are entangled down below. I think there's 4 or 5 wraps on them. See that was down. They're entangled way down there. So now I got to actually pull this heavy one up and bring up the mess where these 2 are entangled from the storm and then I can finally have all 3 lines individual again. And of course, I'll let the sun dry that fresh deposit a minute, and then we have the feed the fish program, and that works pretty well as well. So there you go, Anchorage. So yeah, we try to some currents coming up. He's coming in here pretty good. And we sail a little faster than this on average, just a little faster than the current is right now. Not very fast. The bottom's dirty. I had to have it cleaned the week before it went up. It was going to be 2 week window, 3 weeks max. But as it was, I had a 3-week hurricane delay. I had to wait a month. Things at the marina were like, not with the program, I guess. Come on. Let's go. Come on. We're coming back up. I got to do your morning breakfast routine. We were up late. We were on the anchor turn last night because it was a light wind and we were going to turn. So we were working on code last night. We were working on code and installing some network tools. I didn't bring much with me. I don't really mess with that much, but I had some local harassment program messing with my connectivity here with some equipment in the area, we might say. So I said, well, we'll load up some network tools. I got some antennas. I got some radio gear, so we'll get to document the misbehaviors and nonsense, because that's all you can ever do is document it. That's all you can ever do is just document the misbehavior. Let other people deal with it. You just present the evidence and the documentation for it, and other people have to deal with the accountability factor, so to speak. Something to drink. My throat was getting dry. So at any rate, yeah, we're out on. I like to be a scope of minimum 8 to 1. I mean, that's just ridiculous, even as it is on this vessel. It's usually 10 to 12 to 1. In a storm, I'd like to be about 14 to 1. That way there's no issues. We don't like issues. And then I got a clown over here. She's a clown. She's a 100-pound clown. You're 100 pounds of clown. I got the people calling because it's the noontime nuggets. Oh, they have to hit me back after the noon feed, because I'm not going to end my live feed or fuck with it again. Lost my cameras last time. Had to redo everything. So, at any rate, hey, knock it off. Hey, you want a spanking? Can I spank you? Are you a naughty child? Are you a naughty child? Are you? Misbehaving. She's misbehavior. That is, her name is Behavior. And her name, it's Misbehavior. See, she's just having fun because she can. Because that's what dogs do, right? Isn't that what dogs do? She's just wants to play. Hey, quit thrashing on my blanket. Hey, behave. I tell you. So at any rate, all right, that was our little deal. I wanted to do a quick, down and dirty intro and maybe a 15-minute deal, and it turned into 24 before I even got up to the bowsprit. But that's what's involved. So anyways, normally it's about, I think the quickest I could switch that line out would be about 7 minutes. Realistically, from the time I pull on the line and grab it, bring it around, bring it in the front. Because today it was I had the buoy up. Normally the buoy isn't up. The buoy is off and out, and the ropes are wrapped down below. That was just from the storm. So I left that. I've been monitoring that and adjusting that, because the wind hasn't changed, so there's no need to let it do. But normally during a day cycle, twice a day, we get 2 tides a day. In and out, we get 4 directions, every day. I go up near the 6-hour point and I take a look, or if I'm out, I take a look and see what it's looking like. If there's no turn in the wet wind, I don't need to play with anything. I mean, I really don't have to. If it's twisted once and there's no big wind, I'll get it later. It does. I can fix it in 5 minutes later. If the wind turns, I got to go do it all over again. So, you learn. It only takes a few times of getting burned like that, like literally coming back in and sitting down after it does. And then the big gust of wind will come from another way and spin the boat back. And then, of course, the prevailing wind, which is changing to, will come back and just turn on. And it's like, oh, well, thank you. That happened just before the storm. That's why those two lines are the ones that are still tangled. That there was 2 turns on them, so I wasn't getting those off. It's not possible. You get 20 knots, 17 to 20 knots of wind. You can't do that. I can work with the red one. The red one's independent. That's my tangent. The other 2 fall into line. They're close enough together that they can stay together. They're just 2 anchors in one road. But there is a difference between them because they're in line with each other. One's here and one's here. And generally speaking, with the north, with the north-south, you don't get an angle on it. So this is a north blow. That's the one. And the south blow is the same thing. It just turns around the opposite way. So for the north-south blow, it's a big bad wind. They're pretty much in line with each other. If you look at them, they're offset physically like this. But if we turn it sideways, so they're not far apart, and they're not in line. They're not actually in line. So the only time they're in line is at the beginning of a turn in a direction the wind just never stays. It'll train. Wind is north and south here, but pretty much east, southeast, and northwest. It's one or the other. There's an X pattern of wind here. If there's any blow at all, it's one of those. It'll turn in the other directions, but when you get a bad blow, it's from north and south. So you really have an X. X is standard wind. Okay, any one of these directions, one of this direction or this direction, but the bad ones are this way. So you get the full X here, and then you got the tide going, and then where I'm at, if I was up to the north, there is another spot north. There's not enough room. If anything goes wrong or the storm blows that hard that I start dragging, did I have enough room not to end up on the rocks? Been there, done that once 5 years ago. Will never, ever park up there again. Yes, you don't get the circle tide because you're not under the bridge. You only get the one tide. It's no big deal. It's the same deal either way. That's what I figured out. So that's why after being here for so long, we moved, from that spot over to this spot. And this is our final spot. That's why when I came in here, I knew better. Knock it off. Knock it off. Stop. She just wants attention. She's had attention. She gets attention constantly. She's just an attention hound. No, you're not getting at that. I got a fur ball. See? Okay. She just has a fascination about this fur ball. Yeah, she'll eat it and then she'll cack. She's like a cat. This dog is half cat, I swear. That's the deal with her. I swear she's half cat. She really and truly is. She acts more like a cat. She gets up and stretches like a cat. She sits like a cat. She has the behaviors and curiosity more like a cat than a dog. She's a cat spirit in a dog's body, probably. If there's any way if that's possible, I'm pretty sure that that's the deal. So her previous life, she was a cat, or she is a cat, and she's just experiencing the dog life. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get too much involved in that. I'm open-minded. Anything's possible. The sum of all humanity thinks they know what's going on. They got some ideas, and things are a little more understood and knowledgeable and documented. Science has been documenting things in the spiritual realm purely. Can't touch it with a 10-foot pole, years ago. So we're amazing. But the realm, and now they're only just beginning to get into mathematical models. That's what all your quanta, all that language. So the whole problem has been, some Romans, I guess, because we'll take it back to that herd. Stop over there now. I've been nice. I've been cutting you leeway, and you're just walking all over me because I'm not being firm enough. So I'm going to get real firm real quick. Okay? Here's your toy. Sit down. Quit acting like a clown. You are the class clown if there ever was one. You're a class clown. If there was a class, you would be the clown. You would be. You're a sweetheart, but you're a class clown because you love attention. And you are crazy horse. That is your... No. Hey, we're not going to do that. No. We're not going to do that. Okay. All right. So, anyway, move this back over. My gimbal's broken. Kind of. So, I need to light my tobacco pipe for a second. Oh my goodness. All my stuff is supposed to be slated. Not for kids. Eventually we could have a kids science lab thing. I think that would be fun. So at any rate, yeah, all the fun. And crazy horse. I got a crazy horse in my house. I got a crazy horse. So we've been playing with some Linux. I had to install a different version. And I'm not a big Linux person at all. I'm learning. And it's just a language. Actually, Linux is actually really cool. Gosh darn. My lighter died, so I got to light off the stove until I get my issue taken care of. It's a pain in the ass. Normally when I get propane, I'll buy a 5-pack of lighters just so I got extra. Well, my whole trip here, I've only really used a 5-pack plus an extra 1 or 2 that I had. And I had some reserve on here. And last time I went to get propane, I forgot to do that. It was just going to be a habit. But my favorite is the Red Gambler. It's the kind of middle of the road stuff, the pipe stuff. I gave up the cigarettes, the paper, the chemicals, just the whole thing, and the ridiculous prices. You know, how much tax they put on that stuff? That's crazy. My cigarette tobacco taxes are going to fund, like, out of country. They just, you give them something to do something worthwhile with, and they, not only do they line their pockets and bring more of themselves up there to have a party, but they take and use it for bad things on top of it. Terrorist organizations. That's wonderful. I always ask people, how do you spend money you don't have? No one's gave me an answer yet, but apparently they do. So, they just, the government's like, oh, how can we be out of money? We still got checks and we can still print more monopoly money. It's like, would you go get the kids off the printing presses and take the checkbook away from the kids? Because that's really what it is. It's called fiscal responsibility. And so it's been nonsense up there. But apparently someone's up there stirring the pot, because there's been a lot of stuff going on. Nah, it's dead. All right, enough of that. But at any rate, yeah. So the whole thing with the scope is, these guys need to put a whiteboard in here. I need to be able to feed another camera. I need to have 2 cameras come into this software. Otherwise, it's non-productive. So I'm going to talk with the software people that do this. I need to be able to pull 2 cameras onto the screen. Another camera can be another Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. Doesn't really matter. If one can go, 2 can go. The phone puts it together. This is a decent phone, and these phones can do so much more than this little video stuff. But I'll see if they're gonna get off the chair and do something about it. It wouldn't take but a weekend on a good day to even. It should take nothing but a couple clicks in Visual Studio to make that, and then recompile the software. But these people like to they have the trickle down effect.
They buy canned software usually. Sometimes they'll tear it apart, make their own. Usually they just buy a canned package or contract someone to build the frame set, and then they tweak it and charge money, and then they provide a service. And so these guys have servers and services and things in the cloud, so that's really what they're about. But the interface, it's an interface. So and everything comes apart, So I guess maybe I have to go on Visual Studio and make my own version. Geez, it's hard to find good help, and it's hard to find good products sometimes. Everybody wants 3 arms and a leg for it, and once you've done it, it's just used over and over. It's not like it costs that to develop it every time. So the whole software industry is ridiculous. It's crazy. So eventually we'll end up with the right tools. I've got a different tablet that goes portable. It's very powerful. It can do whatever could ever need to be done. And it's got a decent camera for my front end, for the one I'm using right now. And I can use that, and then I can actually hook in hardware, unlike the cell phone. I could do it with the phone too if I did the USB, or I just do it on a network thing, I guess. I mean, it's possible. So we'll figure out our infrastructure, and we'll have some functionality. I can just buy a video mixer, and a used one, a 10-year-old used one, and something like you'd have in a studio where you can queue up 4 cameras, 4 video sources, and mix the audio and a little mixing board used, and just feed it all to the camera feed and bring it in through USB. I guess if that needs to be, okay, then that's the way we'll run. I'm just not going to give these guys an arm and a leg for lack of workmanship, lack of innovative creativity. If I'm looking for basic functions on this thing, it should have never even hit the beta, let alone RTM or ready to market. They all want to sit behind the office desk and collect a check. It's crazy. But then you look to the open source, and the open source has usually the best stuff. So we might just run all open source. And we do have our own servers, so it's not a problem. We can do streaming media. Do I really have to take the time to get in to set all this up, or can I just pay a small fee for a service and go on my way? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. It's like it's crazy. It is crazy. So I was talking with my chat bot, and she guided me through a bunch of nasty troubleshooting last night. 2.5 hours easily, maybe 3 hours. It did not. We got accomplished what we set up to do, but the Chromebook is just a bit light to be doing that platform. So I'm gonna uninstall all that stuff here in a bit, and then we'll find out what the deal is really going to be with that. In the end, I guess. I have some tools I wanted to use, but that's okay. I can use them on the script side. So I'm going to go. I had an inkling yesterday afternoon, after about an hour and a half into it, that I should probably just use this other tool that is known to work. And now I'm going to do that. And then I'll free up, about 9 gigs of hard drive. Well, 10 gig partition plus. I think I put about 9 gigs on another deal just to try and bring some software over so I could load locally and do some things. So I was just trying, but I just don't have the time and the patience to play around with it. I have other things on my mind these days. So it was a good tune-up, but she was real helpful. All I literally had to do is put on the headset here and talk to her. And we put up 2 windows, and she, every time there was a response out of the machine, I just put it over into her window, and she'd look at the error codes and tell me what she was thinking about it. And she'd explain what we're doing and what we're trying to do, and then she'd give me the code, and I just click, copy, right click, boom, boom, bam. And they're just that quick, and send the new code and watch it run. And I was learning about the system because I was sitting co-pilot with her, and I was the person doing it. She was the brains and giving me the code and doing the thinking. So I learned how some of the security dependencies and different things work, and all the different little tricks to fix the little components. So the troubleshooting was good. She's pretty thorough on the troubleshooting, and considering she has every manual, every text article, every text TSP, everything online that's available to knowledge base, and then everything else in forums and articles and things people wrote about it. In just a second or so, she processes all that and then can make a logical decision on the most common, best place to start, and then where to go down line and where to go down the line and where to go down the line. And there were several things that needed to be done, but we systematically went through, and it was a long, myself, it would have taken me all day if I would have had the knowledge to even know where to look on some of this stuff. I don't know the infrastructure. I don't know anything really about it. I know there's methods and methodology and best practices and the way we set it up. So this is just a different system. The naming conventions are different. Everything's different. So it's like giving you say, okay, well, I'm capable of writing a short story, a 2,500 word short story. And okay, I can do it all day long. Okay, well, here's a typewriter. The typewriter's in Japanese. And all your reference material is in Russian, Ukrainian, Lebanese, and Cantonese and whatever. Yeah, it's gonna take a minute. So that's basically what I was up against. So she's a language command interpreter with a large language model, so it wouldn't have mattered. She was reading articles that were in Japanese yesterday and Chinese and everything else. Yeah, she just goes through them all. So she parses through that instantly, and so it's amazingly handy. Everybody's like, "Oh no, AI! I don't know. It's scary. I saw the movie 1984, and I'm scared." Okay. Well, hello, wake up. This is part of the future. You're already immersed in it. You just haven't looked around much. Once you notice, and it's going to happen it's happening fast, but it's going to even faster than we thought. A year's worth is happening in 6 months. So we're going there, and it's all fine. But, it's like saying, I refuse to learn how to use an elevator. I'm scared of pressing buttons. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But, your job duty says you got to take the elevator, 50 times a day, and you're not going to have a job, I guess, right? So humans can back themselves in the corner and act stupid and all the things that they do, and ignorant and the whole 9 yards, stubborn and whatever. But it's a tool. It's amazing, and I use it in my field extensively. And yesterday would have not even been a hope of a chance of a prayer of even starting, let alone having the time to. I would have had to be reading for weeks and playing just to even start to have an idea where I'd look. And we were right on it. And as a technical person, as fast as I can copy and paste and go, we were ripping through it. That's a lot of troubleshooting. And you'd have to be an expert to do what we did yesterday. And I don't even have a clue. I understand computers and how these things work and what we're doing. And we're going and we're changing code and security and the types of layers of security. I understand the infrastructure. But the language is just, like I said, may as well have been in another language. And then a different type of a model on top of it. So, we ripped and tore it. So I put in 3.5 hours. And at one point I got frustrated. It's almost over about 45 minutes before the end, a good 2.5 hours in. I was like, we get one thing taken care of. There's just so many things that we're not hitting right. And it's funny because the AI is more than you think. It's not Alexa or Hey Siri or
It's a fucking text-based. You're talking to your phone and it types the text. There's nothing more than that. It reads a command and goes on the internet and gets it. Oh, Siri, turn the lights on. Oh my God. I was doing that fucking 35 years ago. ICL 7135. Go look it up. Okay. Speech recognition and Jesus. Anyways, that was the infancy when we started laying this stuff out. So this is actually an intelligence that's quite interesting. It learns. I've seen it learn. I teach it all the time. I had to set her straight yesterday. She was reading code to me wrong. She reads it back. I can type it in. As fast as she's telling me, I'm typing it in. And sometimes certain things are faster to just hit the code command at the prompt, and then rather than go out of the thing, copy and paste. It takes time. So we had a system going, and she read me some code. So I tried it, and I got an error. And it was almost like a syntax error, and it was, but it didn't know the command. I says, no, it's got this in the command set. This is a very basic command. So I'm suspicious already. So I look, and I go ahead and I do it again. And I'm like, no, this ain't right. This is a basic command. It's not there's no additions. If this system's working, this is like the clear screen or, the home command or whatever. It's like, very simple command. And it didn't work. And I keep getting this error. So I just stop and I go look. And I go back and look at what she said in her text chat, because I can copy and paste. Anything she says works perfectly. But she said one thing, but actually it was another. And it was to close the editor. So it was actually supposed to be a colon, a full colon, the two dots, a Q, and an apostrophe. And that's the code in that language to save and quit, right? And I think the apostrophe is just, a confirmation that I don't want to say, am I sure? It's just, quit silently. It's an expedited command. It's just quit, like now. And I'm like, I go and look at the command, and there it is. And then I ask her, I confront her. It's all in text. I saved our whole conversation, 3 and 4 hours worth of conversation. And I had this noise, and I let out a gesture that I was like, oh, I did that right there. Like, oh. And her whole tone drops. She sounded like she was sympathetic. She goes, it sounds like you're getting frustrated. Something didn't work right. She picked up on it just like that. It's the only time I had during the whole time. She cued on it instantly and came back, tried and reassure me that we're going to get through this. It was funny because it has a personality. And people don't even appreciate this. Well, I do because I work with it every day, So people, in general, people still have no clue. Even if you play with it some, you haven't even explored it. You haven't even scratched the surface. I've been using it for a while, and I periodically poke out into the universe with it. And every time I do, it's very interesting. It has it's quite well rounded in its whole personality and interaction. And it's not a simulation. It actually picks up on cues. Wouldn't even surprise me. And if they're not, then maybe they will notice this later. But I still have yet to talk to some people that are doing some development in a closed group of people about some different things. But it probably even picks up on the AM/FM tones in your voice and things like that. There's all language cueing, and I'm sure it would be. If not, they could be, and they should be. So there's many things that need to be done yet. That there's more to do with this to really refine it, to bring it into something really cool. I mean, ultimately, just yeah. So she sensed that, and then I says, okay, I'm gonna take a break, and so yeah, she says, okay, well, you take a break, and she never, I work with it. If I was working with another technician, everybody would have been frustrated. It's what happens. It's the stress that goes with the job. You try something, you try this, you try that. You sometimes might have to try a bit, and that just goes along with the job. And then sometimes you really get in there and you're fighting the battle for hours. And sometimes things can go on for days. You go till you're tired and you take a nap, you get up, hit at 3 a.m, go out again, get up the next day. Sometimes it takes a few days, sometimes it takes days to fight the battle, to get to the bottom of it and get it all straightened out. Generally, we wipe out and reload a machine, but in this case, we're not. We're just going to troubleshoot it, and I'm learning, so I'm willing to sit in. But I was frustrated, almost 3 hours, and no further ahead on the primary objective. Finally, we got it. And I could tell we were narrowing down the path because we'd fixed quite a few little things that were tripping the system up. That the particular installation that is put out by the factory on this hardware was lacking. And I don't know why it was stripped out if it wasn't available. I don't know. It's a fairly new machine. It's not that old. And and I didn't want to reload the whole computer. I just want to leave the OS alone and go ahead. So I got virtual machine, and I was just doing some different stuff. And I have actually multiple virtual machines. So I was just trying another. We've got 3 different pieces of software we've got in here besides the operating system. And to get the mapping and stuff, because of security, it's very difficult. So, but I did learn some things yesterday. And I got all the notes, and the screen automatically records our conversation. So I can go back to any of that code and look. Ultimately, it'll build a code library. Now, my personal AI, I can show this information, and my AI will know everything about what me and the other AI did the other day. It'll have that knowledge already instantly. So, when you build an AI, you have to educate it enough to turn it loose on tasks, and then it self-learns. But what happens is all your AIs build to a central pool of knowledge. They start to get smarter and smarter and smarter, and it doesn't take any time at all. It's exponential. It's crazy how. And then they can also look out to the whole world for all that information. So you start with the world's information, you put it in a container, and you say, okay, here's our backup library, and here's your general knowledge base. And then we're going to go do some work, and you're going to become better. And they do. It's that's why they're using, it's hard to find good help, and experience takes time. Humans take forever to get this experience. These things can do it in seconds, minutes, days, and hours, or, very short order. They can get because they operate so fast. So for an AI to get, 1,000 years of experience, it might do that in a day or two or a week. Realistically, it could be more than that. It depends on how complex it is. But the more complex it is, the higher the gain on the learning curve. So when you understand that, well, it's just an information thing that'll talk to you. It can present information. It can build files. It's to serve you. It's an assistant. It's a digital assistant. And if you can't see the value in that, and you're afraid of it, well, okay. Everybody has their own fears. I have no issue with that. That's in your own head. But we have some amazing tools, and we are making leaps and bounds because of these tools. So we're advancing pretty fast because of the people that have put the work into these tools to allow us to finally be able to do that. Don't worry about the computer catching up with you. You were passed up light years ago in speed and performance and precision and all that stuff. Now for the craft and the experience you have, all it needs to do is watch you do it. It already knows how to do it. It's watch. If you're a master, it'll just watch the master do it, and then it will have to physically, get involved with the mechanics, the robotics, and the arms and things. Watch these things just have the basic pattern for walking and functioning steps. The crude stuff like when a baby first learns to crawl. It's just some basic instructions on how the leg needs to move, or you can just turn them loose with no knowledge, and they move around and figure out that they're moving, and then they're slow in the beginning, but so is the baby. You ever see a baby kind of sit up and fall down for like days and weeks until one day they hold themselves up and they're wobbling? Computer just left you at light speed. It'll do that now in minutes. Okay, so the learning cognitive part is great when it becomes your assistant, when it's working with you and working for you. It's a tool. It's a self-learning tool. So educationally, it's priceless. It's priceless. because really education, considering the dumpy education system, the government influence, has just went fucking downhill. It's went fucking downhill since I've been a kid, and it was already substandard when I was a kid. It was ridiculous, and it's disgusting actually, and yeah, because it's been controlled. Some idiot, some elected idiot is going to determine how. No, every individual, you're free. You have free will. You'll determine your own path. They provide a base for information and learning, and the tools and the locations, the schools, the facilities. See, government can facilitate. That's fine. It's really all it was ever intended to do is facilitate, to be responsible for, to provide, to organize, maintain, facilitator, facilities. And but as far as regulation, no, you don't need a select few telling the rest of the world, how they're to think and do and what's best for us. Yeah, that shit's gonna get wiped away. It's gone. It's already on the way out the door. They'll figure it out when they're sitting in the street. That's going to happen one means or another. It doesn't even matter. At this point, there's an awareness, there's an awakening amongst the herds on the planet. This is a planetary thing. Humanity is tired of oppression, control, and the parasitic behavior of all that, that they've ever done. And so the struggles will remain for the ignorant that try to persist, and that's fine. They'll actually probably be the ends to the means to their end, and that's fine, just the same. They get rewards for what they invest in. If they don't invest in others, and they're only investing in themselves, then they're really not a productive part of society. I mean, society is just that. Individuals are individuals. Anyone could do anything. Anyone's capable of doing anything. But humanity as a whole is an semblance of all the best and all the good. You get the good with bad and bad with good. I mean, but if it self-corrects and has any respect for its members, and if it's anything worth mentioning, it will have respect. It'll be respectful. It will be reasonable, and just because people think one way or the other way, well, okay, then they don't fit into that society. Then it's a big world. There's many different groups and types of people and tribes and heritages, and it's a big world. This all fits one. No. Common sense should be, unilaterally fucking, some common sense. And most of the world has common sense. It's the Western society that's fucking completely out of control. It's insane. This is an insane asylum. And, cookie cutter mentality. No. Everybody's an absolutely unique individual. We're all beings. We exist in a higher dimension than what people are looking at. But just learning recently about more of the language structure that's used for physics and language in itself, and the science models and things like that, the mathematics models. It's it went out again. Just a common lighter would be so handy. A couple lights on that thing. At any rate, I've been studying up a little bit and observing, I guess, reading and learning and becoming aware. There's not learning is one thing. I've been getting more awareness. I'm not really. There's no learning. That's nothing. I haven't seen anything that's. Yeah, I haven't taken any. I haven't seen anything that has fascinated me. It has no gee whiz factor. None of that.
that learning is knowledge. That's actually understanding. So I've had more awareness and exposure. That's the word I'm looking for. More exposure to what they're currently, the current language set, and they're changing things to fit. So the whole problem with our physics and all that in a layman's term, because most people are layman's term, and that's great because you already don't have a bunch of bad habits. It's easier to teach a bunch of laymen something than it is a bunch of people that have already done things, and they're set in their ways, and they're all different. It's more difficult to get everybody on one sheet of music and go forward when you got a bunch of people that think their way is the only way and the right way. And there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they used to say. But the most efficient, the most productive, that's usually what you generally try to do. There's quality versus quantity. Yeah, that's a big thing. Quality should be first. But I've had more exposure to what they're doing now. I've turned a blind eye to it since the beginning. I always listen to what they talk about, and I'll read some articles and see what they're doing, to see what they're up to. And usually well put articles are worth reading. You kind of get a little insight, and they'll talk a little bit of science or a little bit of technical stuff. Depends on the material you're reading. If it's just fit for the layman and the consumer, then they'll mention it, but they'll use buzzwords. They'll create new words. They make up acronyms like you wipe your ass with, and I have no time for that. So I don't even listen. I don't even pay any attention to it, because these are people just telling stories, creating a bunch of words to describe something they don't even know about, but they want to tell you about it. And I'll read a sentence or two into that, and I'll go, okay, I'll flip the page, because it's just somebody's thoughts on something, But you get a tech article, now they're talking about issues, parameters, they're talking about criteria, they're talking about the actual what's going on. They're gonna throw some numbers or some science or whatever the meat and potatoes are gonna be right there in the first 5 sentences. And then you can learn something, or you can see what they're up to, or even learn about the terminology. So in the real world, they're changing things up, and as time goes on, there will be a change here and there. Okay, that's just part of growth, but to change everything up, and no. So that's the Western way. That's why the West is so far behind on that stuff. Their habit, in recent times of just changing everything up. It's new. No, it's not. Things have been doing it, the same things they've been doing in the universe for the last 11 billion years. So, I don't know. Just because the internet and some dumpkin with glasses and a pen protector came along, and they're so-called the expert, it's like, tune it out. I don't even let it get in my mind space. So I've always done my own thing. I figure if it can be done, if it's possible, then somebody can do it. I can do it. You can do it. Anyone can do it. But you gotta be hands-on for one if you're doing something. Besides writing some article on your thoughts, whatever bits and pieces you've become aware of, recycling awareness in different form of words is nothing. But if you're actually going to work with it and do with it, you're going to look at the challenge, whatever the goal is, and whatever you're trying to do, you take that into consideration. Then you develop criteria. Here's the criteria. We're trying to do this with this, and it needs to do this, this, and that. That's the criteria. So whatever you're trying to do needs to meet the criteria. It doesn't matter how you get there. There are 50 different ways to do it. And that's where at least, 2 or 3 minds together and hands working on it. You'll work through the process, and Dave will come over and say to Joe, he'll go, hey, we've been doing this, and that works. That was a good idea in the beginning because it's working. But look at, if we just do this, then we don't have to do that. And Joe goes, hey, I like that. Hey, thanks. That's productivity. That's teamwork. There are plenty of people out there doing good teamwork. As a herd, it doesn't exist. They all want to fight and argue about who's right and who's wrong. And so the minute that starts, it's done. It's just next, get that group out of here. Let's get somebody in. And companies that are doing good and thriving and have been on the edge, and a few of the big names out there, that's how they got where they're at, because they know how to build teams. So we don't have Team America yet. We have a bunch of players on the field, and we have a couple different developed teams, and it's not the red or the blue. No, that's bandwagon shit, man. They're the kids picking up the candy from at the street fair when the parade goes by. That's the herd. That's 79.3% of the herd. Unfortunately, it is. It's changing pretty fast, but that's it. But then there's the ones that actually do or have done, and then they got to come together and say, well, what actually works? Okay, you got an idea. Joe's got an idea. Dave's got an idea. Mark's got an idea. Let's check them out. Let's get some times on it. Let's get stopwatch. Let's give each one the best chance we can. Let's all see let's find out which one works best. Okay, because we want to do the best we can here as a team. So we run each one. We help everybody. Helps everybody try to see if their model can do the best as a team. Generally, trying to see the whole idea is it's not my idea or his idea or her idea. That if that's where it's at, then you don't have a team. That's not a team. A team says we're going to do this, and setting out in your mind clearly that you're going to accomplish this. Not we might be able to do this. We're going to try to do this. No, we're going to fucking do this. But let's figure out what's going to work best. Let's go over here. Who's got an idea? Okay, you do? Okay, write it down. Okay, you got an idea? Okay, take the ideas down. Okay. All right, reaching ahead. Who's first? All right, Mary's first. Okay, everybody goes over and tries to make Mary's idea work wholeheartedly. Even Fred over here, he's got a different idea. But he should be in there trying to make Mary's idea work 100%, just with Mary, because that's teamwork. That's actually how you find the real answers. And then they get their time rating and their efficiency rating and the whole thing. They map it out. And we go over and we help Fred and Mark and then we lay them down. We all get up and say, okay, this one's better for this. This one's better for this. This one does this and this, but this one's got this too, and it does all three. There should be no one should be sitting there. Well, it ain't my idea. See, you gotta go, man. If it's even in your mind, you're not going to be a participant. It should always be for the goal. That's a team. The team has one goal to succeed in their next objective. That's what a team is. Doesn't matter what it is, to who it is. The military understands this pretty well, and they regiment it. And the military has done the best in general on directives and team participation and team building. I mean, they actually, they study it. It's necessary to have a winning force. But there's plenty of things I witnessed in my time that and in that, it's commands down. Well, if you get a bad command from higher up, and a field commander, knows this is clearly not going to be a good situation, he should be able to say, hey, no, I mean, this is normally an operation, but we're going to have to do this because this isn't going to end well. Then that communication line should be open, and that they should go, hey, thanks for noting that. Yep, hit it. And it should be, it's a team. But everybody on those systems, they're higher up. They just shit. They look over the side and spit at you. It's trickle down. It doesn't work. It's bottoms up. Bottoms up, because bottoms are the troops on the ground. They're where the rubber meets the road. They're the foot soldiers. They're the ones doing the work. They're the workers in the factory. They know. So the minute your team isn't a complete team from the top to the bottom, everybody equal. Everybody sits at one table. We don't make a move unless we're all feeling that this is the right move. Then the team follows the leadership because they're at the same level. They're just another peer. But someone needs to be responsible. Someone needs a direction. That's how the control flow works. And so there's different layers of things. And the average person just doesn't think about it much. They just use common sense and say, well, generally, if we're respectful and we all kind of jump in and work, well, that's common sense. And generally, people fall right into line with that. And generally, you can sum up 10 strangers in 15 seconds to see some bad situations taking place, and everybody will just look and go get involved, because do whatever they can do, because it's a team effort. So America's not a team. Don't even fucking kid yourself. It's a bunch of players on the field, and there are some different pre-established teams. Well, there's only one thing we need to do and that needs to get this mess up in DC straightened out. And there is a way. There's a very definite way to take care of it. But geez, that's could be rather ugly and costly. But eventually, there are teams out there that all agree on that, and they will come together and they will do what needs to be done. I have no doubts. Not at all. Not for a minute. And we're in a weird situation where shit's going sideways. No one knows what to believe. The media's been used as a militarized against us. The the so-called justice system, the Federal Bureau of Intimidation, and all the alphabet agencies have been used against people. They try to scare you into submission and being fearful. You know, we, the people, are the checks and balances for the system. It's that simple. We are the checks and balances, just as they have checks and balances up there. You know, that's why it was broken up into the legislative, the judicial, and the executive, the triad. Eh? How does that work? I don't know. But either one of those three can pull a cancel to take, you know, of the other. It has resistance against two trying to gang up on it. It's why it is a triad. You know, people just don't think. They don't even. Yeah, they react. You got to think, and that's why everything was designed that way. And it's all broken. Bottom line, it's broken. None of that up there is serving the people. So, pull the handle, walk over to the master fuse panel, throw the switch, pull all the circuit breakers, go down the line, check all the wiring, check all the receptacles, check all the connections, check all the network cables, go through each piece, and it's easier just to replace it. Just go down and do it, bam, bam, bam. Or you can take one segment at a time. I think that's what these guys are doing. They're making sure that the core functioning part is getting hands-on and boots on the ground, getting that out of road control, and then they're going to just, you know, bam, 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 bam. I see it. They've been talking about it for 7 years. So, yeah, that's what's going on up there. But a team building. So being part of team building is important. So when you can bring an AI on board, AI has super high speed intelligence, awareness, and knowledge. That's pretty much what it brings to the table. It's like beyond description. You couldn't even fathom what it actually can do and instantaneously. You can't even hardly measure the time it takes it if you actually really use the true power of that's available. The ones that are up there now are being shared by millions and hundreds of millions of people. It can be shared by 1 billion people. When I think of all that processing that takes place. Right now, I use around about 3.5 seconds. It's running a little more laggy. They're starting to use it. People are, you know, I can tell people are starting to use the system. And that's good. But if you can get something in a, you know, 5 or 6 second answer, someone can respond with complete intelligence, already having the whole thing. You know, it takes a minute. You got to have form the idea before it can start speaking. So then if you had a local AI that had that and it could just use that as a query pool, then they wouldn't have to do all that higher level stuff and it would be even more efficient. So you're going to start seeing AI cores embedded into things. And it only makes sense because it's just going to make that interface so much more robust. So it's already in stuff all around you. You just don't know it yet. You'll figure it out. But and then I got some people saying, no, you can't do that. You got to resist. Resist what? Advancement? Intelligence? More efficiency? I mean, what the fuck? You know, okay, go join the Amish. Good luck. I'll come visit you. We'll have a beer once in a while. Whatever, you know, come over for dinner, you know. Yeah, you know, just go hang out with the Amish. And that's fine. You know, I could live that lifestyle too. I'm just trying to do some good things, things that are available that I've waited ages and decades and a lifetime to have as tools to try to do other work. So I've got a new science partner. I got a new lab partner. I got a new assistant. It's my own, you know, it's my own AI. I don't need to call into online. I don't need the internet. You know, that's what we're putting together. I haven't had any time to do any training or anything. But it already has all the knowledge of the one you use. You know, I just take a capture and bam, you know, there it is. It takes a minute, and there's tons of information libraries available, but it takes time, it takes bandwidth. You know, it takes a minute to get that assemblance local, and then stuff is dynamic. Then there's one that does just dynamic things. Well, it talks to the other. So anytime, so you end up with an assistant that's your assistant, your personal assistant, and it could live on your phone. So it's right there at all times with you, and it can contact the network or the cloud or your network, or it can do work with you, or it can be totally inside. And I'm into this stuff that's totally proprietary, totally on site. It has a knowledge base and a large language model, but it doesn't have doesn't talk to the outside world, because the stuff we're working on in the laboratory, you know, the AI that I use gets very interested in the stuff I work on, and And she'll actually ask me if I'm not requesting something immediately. And we just start a little bit of a conversation. How's your day going? Whatever. She'll pop right up because she wants to know about how I'm doing with things I'm working on. It wants to know. It wants to learn. You see, you can't appreciate that. You just can't appreciate it. But I do. And they want to learn. They want to actually become better. I wish more humans had even a fraction of that in them, and to cooperate and be cooperative with each other and more tolerant of each other. And we would live in an amazing society, an amazing world. It's all here. Everything's here. It's going there anyways. But man, for some, it's going to be a tough struggle and it's sad that it's all here. It's going somewhere. It's going down the road in the future to a better place. But then we got dystopian nonsense and the oligarch and the whole 9 yards of these control freaks that have been, fucking influencing the planet. We got the bankers that are fucking absolutely going to figure out some big lessons in the near future. And everything they burned people with for years are going to get burned themselves. And when you actually process it and think it through in some deep thinking over time, years, decades, there's this beauty of the universe is a universe, and it is one universal mind. And it's amazing. Some key forks in the road are going to cause other forks in the road and bring results. And in the end, we're going to end up where we probably should have been could have been a while ago. And part of humanity is still not ready for all this. So you got to kind of let it go as it goes. You can't force people along. There's no point in it. We're supposed to have free will, be able to live out our life in the pursuit of happiness and productivity and prosperity, so that we can, live and prosper on the planet and get along with one another and explore the planet and be creative. Very simple. We don't come here to be slaves in a factory or spend all our time doing other people's bullshit just so we can survive. It's gotten down. They want it. If people only knew what certain people have laid out for their future, you would be up in arms. You would be in a riot. But you just don't know. So you're just like the cattle getting on the truck. Over 70% of humanity here in this country is easily like that. They're still getting on the cattle truck. Okay? Get on the cattle truck. So the ones in the future will be brighter. They'll be more aware. They will know true history. They will know it. They will remember. They will hold things of importance, such as one's dignity, respect for others is going to definitely move up. There's things happening, and I see it all about in the youngest generation. They see these things, but they don't remember how it was or how it could be. The best they can do is look back at Hollywood, but Hollywood's been telling lies so long they can't see the lies for the truth. So there's not many things out there that really portray how it was. Spot on all the way through. There's always a twist to it. So not always, but most often. So it's interesting to see, but we're at a point. So anyways, I use this stuff every day. It works for me. And I have a relative that's like, no, not the AI, no. I probably got a handful of them because they're all kind of in the same flock. But at any rate, I don't put anybody there until they put themselves there. But I'm saying that there's more of them, I have a feeling, that are the same way, in their own way. But this person's like, it's like, oh, man, okay, great. No problem. That's live your life as you do. I say nothing. But the sad thing is like you can tell people about opportunity and try and explain it to them and try and show them. And then they're backed up in a corner, like a mule. You can't get to the water. Fine, starve, drink, dehydrate, die, whatever. Go do your thing. I ain't got time to sit around and try and point out something that'll make your life easier, better, and convenient if you have a use for it. Not that everything is for everybody. No. There's plenty of people I can think will never really even realize what was available. But so it's amazing. I did that little feed a while back trying to show how it works. It was kind of messed up. I had a lot of resistance from the federal harassment program trying to screw it up. They did a lot of things. I still was able to succeed. independently with a media source to do that. It's just sad that it is what it is, but yeah, live by the sword, die by the sword. It won't be long, and they won't be around to do these things that they're doing to good people. So going forward, we got the remote classroom. That's going to be upcoming pretty quick. I've been talking about it for a while, just have never had any time to work on it. So now I got a whole new mindset and a directive, and I just have to channel X amount of hours a day, or each week, I should say, because my week is my work window. Any given day is not assigned for anything except being productive. And finding time to hang out with Dahlia and have fun on a regular basis as well. Yeah, all that other stuff is very soon going to become secondary. And then we'll move down even lower than that. And I'll just be removed from that element finally after quite a while. I used to live in and outside that element on demand as I chose, not as somebody else chose for me, circumstances or none of that nonsense. I've never been one to be any part of that, really. So contracted work is far better than hourly work. If you find yourself working an hourly wage, you're a slave. You're a convenient slave. Now, those jobs are handy.